So, as you can see on the screen, the Korean server, or basically the developers of the game, and I think he's like the product manager or whatever, like game director, had a Q&A session. This is not so much as a showcase of what's happening, as much as it is answering questions. However, they did tease some very important information, and we will cover on what is coming tomorrow, for example, or I think it's like the day after, basically this week in Korea, and also the plans and basically answers that he gave to various questions, just to get a little insight into what is gonna happen next. And also, I tried to compile this information by translating the developers conference, basically word by word. I watched like an hour of it. Most of the stuff seems to be correct. However, in the Discord, our legend one and only storyteller did give a brief of what's coming in there as well. So I'll try to basically combine both of those and give you the most accurate information that I currently have. Okay, so first of all, for this week, the changes happening in Korea have been announced, and so far they have mentioned that new dungeons and the new story mode expansion is gonna come out. So basically, most likely it's gonna be the Sierra continent that you recently noticed appear in the map. Apparently it's been in Korea for like a month, but I somehow managed to miss it, so yay me. But yeah, the how do we call him? The director, right? He mentioned that the dungeons will not be overly difficult. He said that the cap of those dungeons will be at around 500,000 power, so it should definitely be completable for the majority of you. And he also mentioned that he wanted to make good use of the jump mechanic, because currently jump mechanic didn't have any significant impact. So yeah, apparently this content will devolve a lot about that mechanic, so that will be interesting to see. There's also a few other changes. So there was this sort of quality of life feature where you are gonna be able to apparently test your defense before you put it out. So basically, if you put a defense on arena, a defense on siege, apparently you will be able to test out. Again, keep in mind that the main changes I'm mentioning may differ a bit, because this is the translation that I have, not the original text, since of course I do not know Korean. But yeah, apparently that was teased. There is gonna be new artifacts, legendary tier artifacts, and it seems like these artifacts will be exclusive not only to any unit, not only to classes, but exclusive to a single unit. So essentially, still unsure whether the unit exclusivity they mean is any element or like the actual single element of that unit. But very curious to see how they come up, because I mean, that's a lot of artifacts you need to make. I don't know if they will include 4 stars, 3 stars, all of that. Like imagine making a legendary artifact for a 1-star unit. But yeah, kind of curious to see how that goes. And for this week as well, they have teased some balance patch changes. So still unsure whether these will be all of the balance changes, but they did mention Beast Riders and Twins are gonna get buffed. And now for the changes that are happening later on. So these refer to usually the end of the August, November and December. Some of the changes will be happening in January and February as well, but I will mention when those are coming out if they have mentioned it. And currently you are seeing me in the Summoner's War farm website, and the reason you are seeing me here is because the new unit has been announced. This unit is already a unit in the Summoner's War Sky Arena. So while we cannot exactly see what the unit will do in Chronicles, we can sort of speculate what it will do based on the skills in Sky Arena, because usually the units do very similar things so far from the versions that have come out in Chronicles. So for the Water Dragon, this guy is able to freeze enemies for a turn and even extend that to 2 turns with his first skill, or second skill in this case, and his third skill is able to AoE freeze and reduce attack bar. So for attack bar, the equivalent for us would be cooldowns, probably cooldowns, yeah. So yeah, potentially could be a cooldown increasing unit that has CC. The Fire Dragon, this skill is able to do a lot of continuous damage effects, so still unsure what it will be. Most likely it's gonna be burn or maybe poison, we'll see. And his second skill would be an AoE that basically that sets cooldowns of every single unit as well. So for this one, I feel like cooldown will be the same mechanic as in this game. For Jamire, this one is very sort of special because he is very meta in some compositions. So this skill will do damage based on max HP and apply attack power and attack speed lowering. So attack power and yeah, most likely we're gonna be attack speed as well. And this skill, this is a big one. It is a full cleanse and it instantly resets all cooldowns. So I'm personally mostly excited about this guy. And for Light and Dark, for this one, it is an AoE heal and cleanse plus a massive HP scaling damage. We'll see how this one turns out. And for this guy, I believe it is a stun. And there's also a very big damage nuke. Now, there have been some more changes. So someone asked a question about the Wind Harp Magician, and the director mentioned that she is currently underperforming and they are looking into either changing or buffing her in some way to make her more meta, because currently her skills are just horrible. Like there's no sugarcoating it, it's that bad. So hopefully we see some decent buffs. And speaking about Harp Magicians, as you know, since the Wind Harp Magician was introduced in the game recently, someone asked about the Fire and Water Harp Magicians, and he did briefly mention that those are getting released pretty soon. And he also teased a little bit of skills, and it seems like those skills are very similar to the Sky Arena versions as well. So the Fire Harp, it was mentioned that she does have the ability to equalize HP between your team and the enemy team. So we'll see whether that will be single target, AoE or anything like that, but it could be a very interesting mechanic, and I'm very excited because, as you know, Cleave could potentially benefit from this a lot, since he does have that Endure, which means he stays at 0 HP or like 1 HP for a very long time. So equalizing not only will heal him, but also do a lot of damage to the enemies. And for the Fire Harp Magicians, essentially the Water Harp Magician, she will have some sort of interaction with sleeping. Also, I know quite a few have been expecting this, but it seems like they briefly mentioned some info about the collab that was announced, and apparently it was supposed to happen later this year. However, there was some delays, at least as from what I understood, and it will potentially only come out in February of next year. Also, someone asked about the account skill tree, the one where you have to level up various monsters to increase it, and it looks like it first of all will potentially have a way to have a different account skill tree per summoner you are using, because someone asked about the inability to switch those between summoners, since they like to play with multiple different summoners. So potentially that is coming out, and it seems like there may be new skills coming out for that as well. And speaking about new skills, summoners seems to be having new skills as well. So from what I understood, he mentioned that there will be a total of 20 new skills coming. So if we divide it by 4 summoners, potentially that is 5 skills per element, and that will most likely be 1 skill for each. Not 5 skills per summoner, I mean, and that will most likely be 1 skill per element. So hopefully Light and Dark skills also had the sort of upgraded abilities, because currently it was only the 3 basic elements. And this one should be potentially coming October, not next update, but most likely somewhere towards the end of October. And now a mechanic that is being very underused, in fact so underused that I don't think I fought against one ever, are bombs. And bombs will be receiving a big buff. So first of all, bombs will have some sort of interaction where they still do damage even if they are removed or something like that. I think it's similar to how it is right now, but basically there's like an additional buff. And on top of that, bombs will apparently now ignore defense. I think they ignore defense. Didn't they ignore defense a little bit already? But Yeah, it mentioned that they will ignore defense. Potentially, maybe it will be a full defense ignore. Maybe it will be more. We'll see how that works out. Now, for all you different summoner enjoyers, this one is a little bit disappointing, but it seems like Heath, the assassin summoner, may be delayed a little bit as well. So previously it was mentioned that he will come out in December. From now, it seems like it may be late January, at least that's what the director mentioned. Also, this was an interesting one. So they briefly talked about the transformations. The transformations I'm talking about the various potions you got from like the 1-year anniversary event, where you could become like the Naraka little dragon, you could become a mushroom, all of that. It seems like they briefly mentioned about adding some of these. It could have been an event drop, I don't quite recall it exactly, but it seems like those may be a thing, and hopefully a permanent thing. And they will give some sort of a boost to gathering profession, so mining, fishing, and gathering. Now, for all you players in the American server, basically the NA server, you will know that the game started a little bit earlier there than for the global servers, and it started somewhere in November. So the director did announce that there will be a special 1-year event of the NA server release, and they briefly mentioned that the rewards you get will include some sort of costumes. So quite excited to see what that will be. But yeah, Comtours does not hold back on their anniversary events, let me tell you that much. So it's probably not gonna be as big as the current 1-year event, but it's definitely not gonna be a very ordinary 1-year anniversary event in the NA server, let me tell you that much. Now, if you have followed the patch notes that I do for the Korean server as well, you already know that one of the battlefields has been unfortunately removed. The battlefield where 2 big mobs are basically fighting in the center, and you need to destroy towers, destroy minions, all of that in order to win. That has been removed from Korea as of last patch, and it will most likely gonna happen in NA. Maybe it already happened and I just simply missed it, but yeah. That battlefield is being removed, and in turn a new battlefield will be added. And he mentioned that this will be a 3v3 battlefield. First of all, I love that, because this means that matchmaking will be a little bit better. You only need 6 people instead of them, so that works. And also, with a 3v3 battlefield, because the party limit is currently 3 people, this means that you can bring your whole party into game, and hopefully this gives you more cooperation than having to rely on the other 2 people in your party, maybe not being as good as you, maybe not understanding the strategy. But yeah, 3v3 battlefield, and a brief description of how it will work, so you can sort of imagine like League of Legends if you play that. So there will be some sort of a stone that you have to protect yourself in your base, and there will be some sort of a stone in the enemy base that you have to destroy, and there will be some sort of a tower in the middle, and you need to basically climb the tower, destroy the tower. Again, like the details they mentioned are very hazy, and again, it's a translation, so it's hard to say. And yeah, this change has been rumored to come out in November in Korea, so we'll see when that comes out. I'll make sure to cover it as well. And now if we jump to December, so December is the period of Christmas, and for Christmas they are preparing a big event as well. So they mentioned that this event will contain various dungeons, a new area of some sort. You can sort of imagine like the 1-year anniversary contained a new area. I think even the last Christmas event or like winter event had a new area, if I recall it correctly. So yeah, something is brewing up, and I'm very excited about it. And there will also be some sort of a boss you have to kill. Potentially it could be the same as last Christmas and the One Punch collab, where you got a new subjugation boss. So I'm expecting something like that. But yeah, a big December event is coming. And before we jump to more visual information, there is gonna be some changes coming to Galagos. So the director mentioned that initially when he made Galagos, he wanted to feel it more like a sort of hack and slash mode, but that's not how it turned out, and there will be some changes happening. So he mentioned that these changes will come out in November as well, but again, as you can see, they promise some dates and they don't deliver on those, so let's not talk about dates as much, but let's talk about changes more. So first of all, it mentioned making it more competitive, so there is a chance that it may have the same fate as maybe the new TOA hard, where you essentially complete stages and maybe you fight for the best time and there will be some sort of rewards or something like that. Also turning it into a seasonal dungeon. Again, this was a sentence mentioned, but I do not know whether this means that it will turn into, instead of being once per month, maybe once per 3 months or something like that. Hard to say. Maybe it was just a sloppy translation, so let's not put too much worth on that sentence. Also, restrictions, like the restrictions you get for upping the difficulty of that, like giving enemy stats, removing your own stats, stuff like that. Again, he mentioned that like these mechanics are something he does not like, and he wants to turn it into a more of a like hack and slash experience. So yeah, there will be Galagos rework coming hopefully in November. And now we have some visual information. Most of these, fair warning, most of these will be transmogs. They did not announce any sort of new visuals for anything else, but there are a lot of these transmogs. So there are 9 transmogs in total, and there will be a transmog for summoners as well. So first of all, this will be the Howl. What you're seeing on the screen is a Shushu, and it will be a Halloween transmog. They did mention that there will be some sort of a Halloween event where you can acquire these transmogs, so we most likely are gonna get this one for free after doing some sort of tasks in there. I'm guessing it's gonna be very similar to the 1-year event and the way you get Colleen, like the Harpu transmog. Basically just do some tasks, use those points to collect the transmog, and that's that. So yeah, a Howl transmog. The second one is the Undy. This one's already mentioned previously, and again, it does have this sort of Halloween theme, so there is a chance that it will be available from the event as well, although don't quote me on that. All they did was showcase these transmogs visually. The third one is the Valkyrie transmog. So this is Vanessa, I believe that's her name. And it looks like this one will most likely not gonna be part of the Halloween, so I'm guessing the previous two will be sort of Halloween focused, and these will just come out in general. So this is like what, like Popstar or Angel or whatever, Valkyrie. The fourth one is the Occult Girl. So this is Rika. What Occult Girls are even used? I think the Dark one, the Anvil, is being used quite a bit. So if you do have an Anvil, you can sort of imagine what it will look like just in blue. The fifth one is the Polar Queen. Does she look like a Polar Queen? Not one bit, but yeah, there's that. And actually, when you look at it, I have this feeling that it will be released together with this one because the themes are very similar. Oh, in fact, yeah, the Occult Girl will be released as well. As you can see, it looks like the themes, like if you look at the first symbols here, they are the same, so they're most likely gonna come out in a pack. Hopefully at least one of them is freely available from one of these shops, but yeah. Also, yeah, I mean, this is sick. This is the Beast Riders. We currently don't have him yet, but they should be coming out next week for us because there's a small event happening. This, I'm sorry, this is amazing. This is potentially the best transmog in the game. Like, how can you not like that? But yeah, this is amazing. Okay, the seventh one is the Panda Warrior. Yeah. Moving on. The eighth one is the Archangel. Yes, Archangels are finally getting a transmog as well. I'm very confused about what the theme here is, but it looks like some sort of... If you've played Sky Arena, it sort of resembles like the Sky Surfers, right? Like Oliver, Miles, or whatever. Very similar to that. So yeah, kind of cool, kind of cool. And the ninth one is, of course, the Dragonite. So this one was also teased together with the Undyne in one of their previous developers' notes. So it looks like this one will be coming out as well. This is a 6 skin, like, this is just a 6 skin. I think this is the light one. It could be the wind one, but it feels more like the light one, so it's Jaeger, whatever you want to call it. And now there will be some summoner transmogs. So there is only one, and they are called Baristas. So basically this is Barista Kina. There is also the Barista Cleave. Yeah, no, I don't like it. Balista Orbia, that's pretty cool. Barista Solera, and if you're interested, there's all 4 of them in this picture. So yeah, that's about it for the updates that they have teased. Again, keep in mind, a lot of this was translated from Korean, so the date may not match, the specific details may not match, but I did watch it several times, especially if I didn't understand a certain part. So yeah, hopefully this will be some exciting news. And yeah, that's about it. Tomorrow or either the day after, I will be covering the Korean update. And yeah, peace.